Well, good morning, Las Vegas. I am Greg DeVille, the broker owner at DeVille Realty Group, and I want to welcome you to the Greg DeVille Let's Talk Real Estate Show. Each and every Wednesday and Friday, 10 to 11 a.m., right here at AM 1400. We're going to be going over the selling process, the buying, and yes, investment properties. Stay tuned for the show. Let's talk.
All right, Las Vegas, good morning, good morning. I am Greg DeVille, live on radio right here at AM 1400. So excited to be back with you, sharing more great information live here on Facebook as well. Listen, we're in studio with the credit doctor, Mr. Lawrence Turner.
Yes,
Dr. Turner,
yes.
so glad to have you this morning.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy morning to share with the community the importance of credit, because credit right now, as many know, has been challenged due to the COVID-19, if you will.
Absolutely.
People are, jobs have been
Lost,
a bit challenged, and
Absolutely.
so things like that. But again, so understand now we're in tax season.
Yes.
And
busy time.
You're a tax accountant and credit doctor. Let me let you take a moment to share some information that you like to share this morning with our listening audience.
Yeah, when you talk about credit, credit, those 3 digits, called a FICO score, those
Right.
3 digits determine how we live our life. And you really have to pay close attention to it. And I teach my clients, that's something you have to take so serious because, again, it determines how you live your life. So whatever opportunity you have to make sure that you're doing the right things with your credit, paying your bills on time, not having collections and things of that nature, you want to be able to do that because it can put you in a position to what? Become a homeowner. And that's what this is about. We want you to become a homeowner, but it starts with credit. So you have opportunities to pay down debt, do things, because we're in tax season. Guess what people get, Greg? Guess what they get? Refunds.
That's it.
Now, I don't know anything about a refund, but I'm just telling you.
We don't receive them.
Yeah, we
It's
don't
foreign language to us. Wasn't in my studies.
You got that right.
I'm paying taxes.
That's why I'm always writing a check to
Yeah,
the
right.
IRS.
That part.
Exactly. But
Yes.
there's people that are getting refunds and large refunds
Yes.
too. Take advantage and use those funds to help pay down debt, to help get rid of collections. That's by going through a credit repair program, a credit restoration program with myself, and you can be a homeowner. And that's what, Greg, you do such a fabulous job at getting people into homes. I'm super excited about that, to see people now become homeowners because of the things that you're doing. But it starts with credit.
Yes.
Get your credit together. You're getting tax refund. Use that refund wisely to put yourself in a position to become a homeowner.
So would you say it would be fair to get a copy of our credit report? And all they got to do is contact DeVille Realty 702-787-7559, and we'll set you with a lender. Look at your credit reports. Pay down. Now,
Correct.
Should they pay everything or just some things that are most valuable? That's something I think the lender has been sharing with the community. Is, look, I need you to pay this, that, and the other. But as you mentioned, tax refund here. Someone got their stimulus,
Right. Stimulus.
so you could take advantage of the stimulus, and with the stimulus, pay down some debt,
Exactly.
which could raise your FICO score.
Exactly.
Raise your FICO score. And so with that being said, Las Vegas, 702-787-7559. We're live in studio with the credit doctor. Good morning. Good morning. Smiley, so glad to have you with us on today. He says, after I have paid things off in my credit, how do I go about raising the FICO score?
So that's a good question. When you pay things off, it depends on what it is. Is it a collection account? Let's say, for example, you pay off a collection. It's still going to be a negative hit on your credit report because it's showing as a collection. You have to go in there and dispute that. You can call myself, Lawrence Turner. I'm going to do one of your things.
Yeah.
702-219-2719. You give me a call because you have to dispute it and get it totally removed off of your credit report. And there's some tricks, there's some secrets that can be done before you pay those off to help you save money and increase your FICO score. But again, give me a call, get with me, Lawrence Turner, 702-219-2719. I got that from you, man. I love it.
Right on. Again, so Dr. Credit is here, and he's taking on your questions. Good morning. Yes, Smiley, I hope that answers your question. Anyone out there with credit questions, we have Dr. Credit himself in the building. To tag Dr. Credit.
I like credit doctor.
Credit. Okay.
Yeah,
Credit
I
doctor.
I like both of those. I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
change my license plate around. To
He's the
Credit.
Dr. Credit. He's the credit doctor and Dr. Credit.
like
So
that.
whatever your credit needs, you need some doctoring. We have Lawrence Turner live. If you have more questions, I'll tell you what. So about 5 years ago, I was introduced to Mr. Turner. I met him longer than that,
Right.
but we got on this credit thing because I was credit challenged. Mr. Turner gave me some information and put me on a program that was able to go from a low 500 to over 677 in under 60 days.
Wow.
So for me and my family, our scores were low. We weren't looking well. We weren't even in position to purchase. But I tell you what, the advantage was Mr. Turner gave us some information. He plugged me. In fact, it's funny because a young man gave me your number and said, DeVille, you need to call this guy. He didn't know that I needed the credit. He said it might help your audience because I was on radio.
Right.
And he said, you need to call this guy and check him out. He said, because he can help your credit. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to prove him for myself if it really works. And guess what? So my wife and I were going over last night. We have over 100,000 in equity in our home.
Wow, nice.
You know, and it stemmed from meeting Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Dr. Credit,
Yes.
Credit Doctor,
Both ways.
and getting credit where it needed to be. So I thought, what a great guest today to have the Credit Doctor talk to you about, you know, how important that is. Because again, we just had Christmas. I think it might have been 100 days ago.
Bills.
You know, just had Christmas and bills, expenses.
Yeah.
But people tend to go out and buy cars, you know, with the stimulus and with the tax refund. And you know, I'm always saying, you know what, get the house first.
Yes.
Then you can get the car. And once you get the house, you can get all of that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. You don't want to have you pulling up in a Mercedes in an apartment complex.
Well, now, you know, I always say if you got a Land Rover and a landlord, I need to hear from you. If you got a Land Rover and a landlord, I need you to call me. Because we got a problem right here. If you got a big body Benz and you parking it under a carport, I'm not clowning you. You really need to contact me because you've done it wrong. You've put the cart before the horse.
Exactly.
Now, this big body Benz, you got it now. You got the Range Rover, you got the Lexus, but you're in an apartment. So let's take this opportunity to go in and guess what? We're going to show you what you need to do. Want to thank so many for tuning in. If you have any questions about credit, we have the Credit Doctor in the building. So we want to make sure that we're getting that out to you today. Marquetta's watching. Tyler, so good to have you with us on this morning. Gloria's watching. Tavante's watching. If you all have any questions, the Credit Doctor's in the building.
Yes.
Listen, your credit. Now, the first thing to purchasing a home is to have your credit looked at.
Absolutely. And you know what? And just listen to your story. It brought back memories of my story with my credit score. You know, I was in a situation where my credit score plummeted to a 522. You know, you can't even finance bubblegum with that. So,
Yeah. But I was lower than that, just so you know. We're competing on the lowest. We're competing on the lowest.
And that's what people do. You get the lowest credit score. It's no longer taboo not to talk about credit. It's like, that's all you guys, 522. 509.
471.
I'm rolling.
I met a guy had a 369.
He owed points to the credit score. But what happened with me is I was introduced years ago to a person that said, hey, listen, you need to check out this company that's helping people restore their credit. So the first thing I thought, that's a ripoff. That's not real. But I had no choice but to take a look at it because, again, I was at a 522 FICO score because of circumstances that happened during the real estate back in 2000 and so forth. So I went through the program. 9 months later, my score jumped up to a 749.
Look at that.
Just following the instructions that was given to me, staying diligent, staying focused, because I knew those 3 digits meant a lot in my life. Not only my life, but my family's life. And that's why I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to be hard going at helping people restore their credit.
And I think you and I are on the same page with that is because it's important for me to do radio. This morning I was on an FM radio. Now I'm on an AM radio. And it's important that I get the information out to the community to understand now is the time. We have a question. Mr. Greg DeVille, he is the man. He got Yolanda and Horace Robinson. Oh, yeah, this family got into a home. Oh, they're recommending us. Okay, wonderful. All right. Own a home, get your credit together. Dr. Credit.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
And thank you for listening. We appreciate the Robinson family. Yes, they did get into home ownership. And through listening to the Greg DeVille Show. we've been on radio 5 years straight.
Strong.
Straight. 3 days a week. Now I'm doing, five days a week.
It's 5 days?
I'm doing 5 now. I'm doing 5. Yeah, I'm doing 5 shows. I'm leaving one station to go to another station. But it's for the community. It's for the... Got to get the message out. And you need to understand the reason we got the credit doctor with us this morning is because you have credit issues and you got stimulus on the way.
Oh.
So if I can catch you now and put something on your mind, Las Vegas, and say, you know what? Don't buy another. You need another purse like you need a hole in your head. Okay?
I agree with
Real
that.
talk. You need another cute pair of black shoes like you need a hole in your head because you're putting all that stuff in an apartment, in a rental, and then they're going to call you and say, we're about to sell the property. What are you going to do?
Yeah, now you're stuck.
Now you're stuck. You got to find another rental, whereas you could pay down some debt. Now contact Greg DeVille. We got some credit. FES, Financial Education Services.
Yes, sir.
I've been a member. Mr. Lawrence Turner got me involved in Financial Education Services, which is what I used to get my credit where it needed to be.
There you go.
Now, Mr. Turner, Dr. Credit himself, the credit doctor, helped me to get where I need to be. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, here's a guy got me started. So let me help many of you understand it's real. It really works. You really got to get involved. It is important that you find out what you need to do. We have a question here. After I paid things off on my credit, how do I go about raising my score? So
yeah. And again, it depends on what type of debt did you pay off.
Yeah.
Was it a collection or was it a good standing, credit card or something? If you pay it off, obviously your score is going to increase. But again, if it's a collection, you have to get that item removed totally off of your credit report in order for your credit score to go north. So pay attention. If it's a collection and you pay it off, you still got to get that collection removed off of your credit report in order to help your credit report or your credit score go in a positive direction.
Right.
And that's something we do to help get those negative items totally removed off of all 3 credit bureaus.
And somebody said, well, somebody mentioned once that, well, that's just a hoax, credit. And so what I did was I did it for myself. I got on credit restoration. I went from a low 505, low. How low can you go? I went low 505 to a 677 in under 60 days.
That's amazing, man.
And so it turned around. So when I disputed the items and I paid a few things off, they sent me a letter paid in full. I sent that to TransUnion, Experian. I sent that to the 3 bureaus so that they can remove it off of my credit. So it's not enough to just pay it. You want to get a payment. You want to get something in writing that you paid that off. Now that you've paid that off, you want to send it to the bureaus. No one's going to do it for you. Now, let me pause and say you don't have to use a credit service to get your credit taken care of.
Correct.
You can do it yourself. Just dispute. Get a copy of your credit report. You can go to some of the free credit reports and look at who's on your credit. Contact them. But now being careful, as Mr. Dr. Credit Doctor mentioned, contacting some of these creditors because, you can stir it up all over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
they're looking to hear from you.
Yeah, right. So if you're going to pay it off or make an arrangement with them to pay off some items, I disputed some old credit report, just some stuff from years ago. I was talking to another gentleman, Terrell Big Tex Robinson, this morning, and Terrell and I was speaking on the other show. And he mentioned about, we can use for trade lines now. There are ways they could build a score. So once your score maybe not where it needs to be, now you can dispute, and that'll do some of the items for you, as well as you can get on with some of these rental karma. They got rental karma that you could you could do that to help build your score. They're using auto insurance now to help build your score, to give you a trade line.
Yes,
so, there's just a lot of ways. Someone asked, I know I need a secure credit card. How do I know what to apply for on a secure credit card?
Well, when you apply for, a secure credit card, obviously you're letting the bank use your money, and they're using it for they're having it in their bank, to use so you can utilize the card, spend on it, and pay it down. Make sure you don't go over 30% on a billing cycle, because that's going to hurt your credit. But there's a ton of banks out there that offer secure credit card. $300. You give them $300, they sit into a savings account, they give you a card. You got a limit of $300.
Right.
But there's a lot of banks out there that I've come across that will not even approve. Did you know that? A secured credit card, they will still deny you. We have a credit card, 100% secured credit card that you can get approved for. So you have to be careful because, again, not all the banks will automatically approve you for even a secured credit card.
Right,
so
right.
if you want a good one, we have one of the best in the market. And I'm not trying to say this, I'm just trying to give you options.
Oh,
This
yeah.
whole story is about helping you improve your credit score
Exactly.
so you can become a homeowner.
Exactly.
And there's ways to do that, to be able to do that. And you had said something earlier, and I appreciate you saying it, that you don't have to enlist a credit restoration company to help do your credit, to
Right.
prepare your credit. You can do it yourself.
Absolutely.
But I always think to myself, you can also represent yourself in a court of law. You don't need an attorney.
It's not advised.
But that's not advice. That's probably not a good idea. You can find yourself in a 2x2 cell. Not even doing that. So you represent yourself, but it's not a good idea. Just like here with credit, you can do it yourself, but we highly recommend that you enlist a professional that knows what they're doing to get the results that you're trying to get. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
So it's
because,
very important to that. Yeah.
Because in the 30-day of disputing, you have to keep up with those dates. And I've learned that there's some things that you have to know. Serena Henry, so glad to have you with us on today. Thank you for tuning in. Walt Edmondson, thank you for tuning in, my brother. Good to have you with us today. Listen, if you have any questions, how do I apply for the card with you? Okay, so you put yourself on the spot.
There we go.
This person say, how do I get a card with you?
All you got to do is send a nice text. Mr. Lawrence Turner, text me at 702-219-2719. Shoot me a text. Say, I heard you on the radio. How do I get a secured credit card? I'll get that information over to you. You'll be ready to roll to build an extra trade line on your credit report.
There you go. And so that's what's important, you all. Like I said, we have the credit doctor himself, Dr. Credit, in the building. You know, he's the guru. He helped your nephew, your friend here, Greg DeVille, get credit where it needed to be. And now we're just maintaining it.
Exactly.
We're just at a place. That's it. We're just maintaining our credit, keeping it safe. But you know, I don't like credit in the sense that once I got the home, Dr. Credit, I didn't really. I'm a cash and carry kind of guy. If I can't cash it, I don't carry it. You know, that's just kind of where I'm a little old school.
I hear you.
I do have credit cards, although the credit people call me and tell me, "Would you please use a credit card, sir? You don't owe a payment, but we need you to use it."
Exactly.
And
they can shut you down too. They'll lower your credit limit, and they'll close it out if you're not using it because they want to make money.
There you go.
If you're not using it, you know, they can say, "Hey, well, since you're not using it, we'll cut your credit limit from $5,000 to $500."
Yeah.
You want to play with us, huh? We want our money.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So any questions out there, we want to make sure, is 3 credit cards too much? Said Smiley, is 3 credit cards too much, Dr. Credit?
No, not really. No, long as you, like I said, as long as you're keeping the utilization of those credit cards under 30%, you're fine with that. You're fine with that. That you don't want to max out because, again, the credit agencies, they look how diversified your credit report is. So if you just have credit cards and that's it, no car payment, no house payment, no other type of loans or whatever, then that's kind of could hurt your credit because you only have one type of credit on your credit report. So if you have 3 and you have other types of credit, you're doing fine. But just keep those balances under, recommend at least 30%. Well, excuse me, max 30%. You don't want to go over 30%.
Right.
If you can keep it under 20%, that's even great. Whenever that billing cycle hit, make sure those balances are below 30%.
30%. So if you spend a little heavy this month, go back, go back, pay it off, and start again. But each month. So you need to pay it on time each month. Very important, Las Vegas. Listen, we're excited about this information. Mr. Turner doesn't have a lot of time today. He said, look, I give your audience 30 minutes. So our 30 minutes is about up. But listen, any more questions you have for him, feel free. Feel free. She said, this information is fire.
Yes.
Ms. Gloria said, this is fire information.
Yes.
Now, credit. We're talking credit today. Now, the FICO score, I have a program right now, and I had a lender on last week, and the FICO score simply needed to be a 620.
Okay, 620.
A 620.
That's it.
So then disputing items sometimes, would you recommend medical items?
Well, medical, what's happening is not counting that hard towards your credit report.
Okay.
We're trying to change that, so because a lot of people got medical situations.
Right.
And with the insurance and the billing and things get mixed up. So FICO understands that. So that's not really a major